I'm with one of the several father and son teams in racing, and in the Superstox in this case, Steve Hamilton here is one of the veterans of the formula, whereas Luke has been at it, I was surprised to find, almost 10 years himself. And both of them are what you might call hardcore Superstox men. Rarely a meeting goes by. Steve, tell me, how long exactly have you been in racing and what got you into it in the first place?
1976. I went to watch a meeting at the old Aldershot. I actually watched two meetings there and I had to go and get a car. So it was as simple as that. First meeting was at Wimbledon when it was Shale, and I had second in my first race, and then totaled it in the second race, and the bug bit, and I've enjoyed it ever since.
That was kind of par for the course for those days, where cars were a little bit more disposable now, and not quite so fast by a fair old margin. Yeah. But that was a pretty good start. And is it true that you've not missed a season since?
No, I have missed. I missed one season. I took a stock rod licence out, and I raced a stock rod in between times of building another Superstock, and we were changing workshops at work, and I didn't enjoy the stock rods, so I think I might have done 4 meetings, but it was 3 or 4. So in the end, it was pack the racing up and concentrate on building the new car.
Yeah, you've got a good reputation for helping anybody new to the sport. What would your advice, the best advice you could give to somebody wanting to come into it? Buy a car that works, get something with a bit of history to it, or building from scratch just isn't on for your first car these days, is it?
It definitely it's not. It's not. Lots of people spend lots of money on a car, come out, and it's not for them. It's not. No, I'd like to say it's not for the faint-hearted. No, that's not right. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work in setting a car up, and to buy a car that is got a little bit of history behind it is better. But to buy a car, talk to someone who's racing, get some advice from them, because everyone drives differently, so the car's set up differently, but there is a basic setup to start from. Yeah. And if you get that set up, then you can work from that.
And of course there's always somebody like yourself who will give out good advice, and that we've seen you do that and try and bring on a lot of drivers, some of whom stayed around the sport, some of whom haven't. But one who you introduced to the sport is your own son, and that's Luke, and I take it that he wasn't actually a stock car man to start with, not from the word go.
No, he wasn't. He was into horses. Had loads of horses, and they cost a lot more than stock cars.
Well, so it was a cost-cutting measure then, coming into racing. But I was most surprised to see being in the sport for 10 years now. Tell us about your earlier career in the equestrian field.
Sure. I started off horse riding when I was about 10 or 11. So, yeah, it was good. Yeah. It's a totally different sport. There's an animal with a brain in front of you and it can do its own thing, which you sometimes think that cars can do their own thing as well when you get in there and drive them in different conditions.
And in some racing classes you would like to think that the animal in front did have a brain in it, but I expect sometimes you wonder. Yeah. But you got into it, and just the last couple of years you've really sort of picked up the pace and you've won some pretty good races. Yeah,
I'd like to think I've got the hang of the car now and know how to alter it for what I can feel the car's doing. Having a bit of fun trying to keep engines together at the moment. They keep on going pop. But
yeah, we have noticed there's been a lot of oil slicks and explosions going on around there, but I mean, you kind of go through phases like that. But do you still build your own engines at home?
Yes, we do. Struggled with getting the machining done for this Wednesday night, sorry. So I've actually borrowed one off David Miles, so fingers crossed we don't have a hat-trick of 3 on engines.
No, we certainly hope that doesn't happen, but what if your dad gave you one particular good bit of advice when it came to racing, what would that have been?
Build it safe. At the end of the day, you're in the car, and not to go weak, and make sure you've got plenty of crosses and strengtheners in there.
Yep, you can't say fair in that, because safety is something that's very important to these Superstox guys. The cars are well built, they're fast, and there's a little bit of contact. We'll be seeing some of that later on this evening, but thank you very much, Steve and Luke, for your words.
Thank you very much.